We have not done this for more than a month because it was the winter break and we thought we should give it a break. But, so we're starting these seminars, second semester, and we thought what a way to start. And having Tendayi Sithole, who spends quite a lot of time around this table. Giving a lot of people a difficult time. So today is 10. We have been trying to do this seminar for quite a bit. We wanted to do it sometime in May, right? We couldn't do it in May, we couldn't do it in June. And so we settled on this day today. So welcome you all. Most of you have been here. It's familiar places. I always tell people that you should consider this your home now that you are here. It's a beautiful space. If you take some time to look around, it belongs to you now that you know about it. My name is Bongan Mulu. I'm the director of the Institute. And so we are privileged today to host this seminar by Tendayi Sithole, who doesn't need introduction to most people around the table. But he is the associate professor at the Department of Political Sciences. It's very interesting. Yurisa calls it political sciences, not political science. So he is the associate professor. Tendayi is one of the most productive scholars we have in South Africa today. Like he writes a book every month. I know he has a lot of manuscripts that are yet to be published. I do not know where he gets the time. Very productive, and we are happy to have you tonight. And so the title of this seminar today is a new slave narrative in Unchained, practices of freedom in the wake of Vengeful fantasy. Speak yourself.
Thanks a lot for this generous introduction. And thanks also to your team in getting me here. To come and share my thoughts with you. And I'm glad that there is no crowd here because I would have run away. because I know that I give a lot of people a lot of trouble, but it is a generous spirit of taking ideas seriously. I know that you'll ask yourself that why Django Unchained? I mean, there was Black Panther, which sent the whole world roaring and some debates being poured in. And why Django Unchained at this time? Because it came out in the Christmas of 2012. And it sparked debates, scholarly, and also in other circles. And for me, this film, it has been something that has been giving me a lot of trouble. And of course, there are films before it that inspired it. One can think about The Birth of the Nation, and also even like films like Amistad. One can think about even the documentary or the TV series that came, Roots, and if one can think about the earlier version which was playing in Simonye before it became SABC One, that played in 1996, and also one can think also about Lincoln, right, and 12 years a slave, right. But this film, it came out of like I would say the bold spirit that its filmmaker, its director, its scriptwriter did, and as you know, Quentin Tarantino, right? Not only from Pulp Fiction, but from Natural Born Killers. Of course, he didn't get to direct the movie, he had to send the script, Kill Bill, and so forth. But Django Unchained, of course, should be understood as part of the trilogy that he was working on, from the Glorious Bastard, which was the vengeful fantasy on Adolf Hitler. And then this movie came, right? And I will not talk about other films, even the one which follows it, The Hateful Eight. But I want to focus specifically on Django Unchained and exercise some forms of protocols of reading the film. And of course, in this paper, I'm faced with the conundrum. I'm dealing with the film, right? How to read a film politically. And not only politically, but how to read this film through the protocols of blackness. So I'm reading the film from a particular subjectivity, because I refuse this notion of, oh, Django Unchained, it was just a comedy mixed with a tragedy. And as you know, Tarantino, as the postmodern filmmaker, he will take things that are unrelated and make the film. But I want to focus on this aspect of slavery itself, right? Slavery is the category of thought. That what happens when one thinks about slavery? Of course, there are a lot of disclaimers in the movie that, oh, it is 2 years before the Civil War, right? And of course, it is some few years before the proclamation of emancipation. But that institution of slavery, I want to think about it seriously with the figure of the slave. The figure of the slave. And in this instance, I will zero my focus on this character called Django. And it's so interesting. Django has no surname. Django has no surname precisely because remember that slaves had the surnames of their masters, right? And after emancipation, what happens was that plantation owners, what they will do, they will come and say, Washington's one side, right? And then slaves will go to the, and then all those who are maybe Taylor, this side, and then they were given surnames. But we know from the original that these are people who have their identities being taken away from them, right? Now, what is the figure of the slave in cinematography? Is the slave not a slave? The slave is the category of the unseen, and here I want to advance the thesis that there is nothing that symbolizes the slave narrative as far as the world of film is concerned. Wait a minute, this is Hollywood. This is Hollywood, right? How dare the slave speaks in Hollywood, in the Hollywood apparatus? It's impossible. Even the filmmaker who has been trying to make the black voice to speak, he had to do a pathetic film, a very pathetic film, Spike Lee, right? After so many years of doing so many beautiful films, but because of the refusal, right? The refusal of the slave to speak, and Spike Lee had to concede, right? This film that won him an Oscar, but I'm not interested in Spike Lee. But I love his old films anyway. Here, as a matter of specificity, I want to dwell on the cinematographic field and exercise the protocols of reading the film. Yes, the scene of the plantation, the larger setting of Quentin Tarantino's acclaimed Django Unchained, the film that came in the Christmas of 2012. My task is not to reproduce the narrative of the film. Reams have been inked, screens and airwaves have been bombarded, and our eyes and ears, they've seen and heard a lot, respectively. So we know the film. It tipped us in the right and or wrong way depending on our sensibilities and personalities. I'm not also querying Tarantino's cinematography. It is beautiful. I am, as a matter of fact, concerned with the protocols of reading the political ontology of a character called Django. So, when I'm saying the political ontology, remember that this category of the slave is the figure that is denied life, right? And when the slave exercises politics, that becomes a risky affair, a deadly one at that, right? Then when people are oppressed, when they engage in politics, they tell them, stop doing politics, you'll get yourself killed. So, what does it mean to engage in a political ontology? I want to dwell in the realm of the unseen, the mute, and empty gestures. If we see Django as a free man, I see the slave. So I refuse this thing of seeing Django as the free man. I see the slave. The existence of Django is the extension of his master, Dr. Schultz. There's no such a thing as partnership. No amount of German guilt and shading of whiteness that can make Schultz to disavow the desires of slavocracy. Remember what happens when Schultz see slaves who are being chained together, right? Who are being transported to one plantation. Hello, you little poor devils. Hello, you little poor devils. He doesn't see people who are his partners. He's seeing poor little devils. And it means that we have to think about the category of the slave as that which has been invited to become property, right? It's a flesh that can be sold, bought, and exchanged at will and at excess of desires of the master. So that's why I want to talk about slavocracy, not slavery, but slavocracy as the institution, right, that is being erected to own the black flesh, and how capital is generated from this institution because of flesh. The political ontology of the slave is that of markings and scarifications that come from the sadistic enactments of the master. In the firm grip of the master, the slave is chained. You know, like one thing that fascinated me about the film, because when I watch a film critically, I watch it in a strange way. I watch it as we all watch it, audio, visual, you know, everything, images. But there are times where I just watch the images only without a volume, and then there are times where I just watch the film without the screen in front of me, just to dwell on the unseen. And these are things that are becoming very, very interesting for the protocols of reading that I'm calling for, because we have been bombarded with the spectacle of what we are seeing on the screen, and we lose sight of the political. So this is where I want to invite you to dwell in. What is the narrative of the slave in Django Unchained? We are presented with a familiar, strange character which goes beyond the free man, but another kind of the slave who, even going under the label of free man, and whatever that Django utters is nothing but a void utterance. So when Django speaks, he's saying nothing. Django is saying what Jacques Lacan would call an empty speech. His acts, they only reside at the level of performance. But this performance, there's no expression. At the level of the tongue, right? Django is not saying nothing. Because remember that when Dr. Schultz come to him with the light, right? Because he's the one who answered, who knows the person, and he answered. And then Dr. Schultz came with the light, and then he spoke because he was commanded to, right? So we can even say he is engaged in what I would call a deputized speech. He cannot speech he cannot have any speech outside the existence of his master. Because we have this illusion that Dr. Schultz and Django are partners. No, he's a master. Because he bought him, right? He was bought. Even those slave catchers, even though they were killed, but Django's freedom was bought. Django's speech is, by extension, the speech of his master. Even his excess of transgression are interdicted. Remember when you were going to Candyland, and then he was saying to another slave, move. I can be back more than these motherfuckers, right? What happened then? Schultz came to him and said, can I have a word with my deputy, right? When he was telling them, he went to, what are you doing? So right? So he was calling him to order in a way. So that's why his speech is interdicted. But I want us to think about the individual as the liberal subject. Because the thing that is troubling me in this film, it is not the destruction of the institution of slavery. Django wants to rescue his wife, Bromhilda. That's all he wants, right? Bromhilda must be freed. That's all Django wants, and that's what he is all invested in. But I want to pose two questions that I want us to register carefully. What is Django? And who is Django? So those are two questions that I want us to put. What is Django? This is not to be confused with who is Django. These two sets of questions, however close, are fundamentally distinct in the realm of political ontology. What is Django and who is Django? So those are two different questions. Precisely because what is Django can be answered in Django is a free man. What is Django? Right? Who is Django can be answered in Django is the slave. There's no such thing as a slave, we have the slave. Right? So who is Django? Django is the slave. A thing in possession of the master, property that is. The site where violence can be marked in all forms that are even beyond sadistic proportions. So this violence can be executed at will, like at a level that we cannot imagine. I don't know some of you who knows the film called Glory, where Denzel Washington became famous, right? There is a scene where he was whipped, and remember that in that film, Washington was fighting to get boots, and it's about the second, it's about the Civil War, and when he was being whipped, he didn't cry, but only one tear came out, and there were even memes going around now, but people don't understand the horror of slavery in that film. Glory. And you can't find it now, it's so difficult, but I'll find it. Who is Django? He is a thing that can be bought and sold. Indeed, a thing. He is still captive flesh. Django suffers from what I would call the I syndrome. I am a free man. Only Django is free. How comic. Now Django goes to that plantation where Big Daddy is. He's wearing that ridiculous costume. And remember before he wears the costume, Dr. Schultz tell him that you must put a performance. You know, act like a character, act like a slave owner, but you must perform. So this must lead us to Sylvia Winter's conception of the sambos and minstrels. Right? Minstrels as those who are performing for their slave masters, and the sambos, those who are disobeying, right? Those who run in pain. Django is branded as an enslaver, a character he was given by Dr. Schultz to play. And of course, as a child, he has to play. Dr. Schultz is white, and his democracy ontology gives him the ammunition to exercise his excess, to be what he wants to be. He's a master. Remember, he can go to any plantation, he can buy any slave, he can do whatever he wants because of he's white, right? He's no different to any other master. He is the white who made Django to fall to his spell of the white savior. He's a savior of Django. Without him, there will be no Django. There will be no Django, the one who is even a bounty hunter. How ridiculous. Still, there is a plague of the individual. Django was brought by Dr. Schultz, who is the master who determines Django's existence and not his freedom. Django's freedom is an oxymoron. Let me make mention of slavocracy ontology of Dr. Schultz, just briefly. Before he brought Django, and before he spoke to Django, note that all the Unchained slaves were quiet, and we never heard anything from them. Even those that Django talked to while he was hiding the high horse, going to Kentland, not to mention those who were caged towards the end of the film. So these slaves are not saying anything, right? Throughout the film, right? It is the one that Django said, "Do you have any problem?" And then he says, and then he spit on the ground, and then he says, "No, I don't have any problem." Right? And then Django became, excited to do all this antics. Dr. Schultz, the one who created the slaves as hello little poor devils, he's the one who is who engaged in a very, very interesting performance where he made a slave to carry a rifle, right? Remember that there was a way that he came and then this guy was shocked to hold a rifle. And he knew that these slaves would not do, they would shoot him. And even when he was writing a check, right, he made a slave to hold a lamb on his behalf, right? So I'm thinking about this terror, that Dr. Schultz has as the slave owner. So slaves were to Schultz those with nothing between their earlobes, right? So they are not rationally thinking beings, like they have no thoughts, so there's nothing between their earlobes. The liberal subject is the fantasy that has been sold to the black. No wonder the heavy weight of bad faith in Django, which is the same with that of Stephen. So my thesis is very simple. Django and Stephen are the same. I will even argue that Stephen is even much better than Django. And I argue that Stephen is even much better than Django, right? Because what we are seeing is that it's a level of bad faith, and it makes our reading of the film to demonize Steve, but extricating the character of Steve as the one who is in the master's teaching, right? What he's supposed to do. And remember how Steve was called. Steve, my boy, did you miss me? Oh, I missed you. I missed you like a kid means mommy's titty. I asked you, who's that nigga on the house? Right? So all those, it shows like the level of bad faith that is there. And the bad faith of Django is the one of not wanting the institution of slavocracy to collapse. Django does not want slavocracy to collapse. Django wants to be an individual, and his freedom at the end of everything is if he can get bomb-held. That's all Django wants. So the bad faith of Django is the one of individualism, which is liberalism par excellence. Remember that according to liberalism, the individual is prior to society, and the state must play the minimal role, and then the individual, he or she must pull himself up like through meritocracy, hard work, blah blah blah, right? And then we get surprised when there is higher resignations. You must go in history. You must go into the history of that institute from the 1920s, and politics of the cane, right? That's a homework. To be free for Django is, in fact, the freedom of the individual. The freedom of Django is bad faith. It is the flight from responsibility of having to be in solidarity with other slaves. Remember, he distances himself. It's only at the beginning of the film when he looks at them while they're killing that guy who is on the horse, right? And then he rides the horse with Dr. Schultz. After that, does not want anything to do with slaves. And I'm saying to you, Django and Steve are the same because they are both competing for the deputy position of being at the right hand of the master. If Django is with Bromhilda, then all is fine. He can retire. There will be no fight against slavery. Maybe some few bad apples, the trait of bounty hunting, like maybe killing those bad whites. Remember, there is something that one must do. That our attention, right, moves from those who are slave owners, we're looking at bad apples who are on the wrong side of the United States law, right? The outlaws. So bounty hunting is for those. They put that poster, wanted, dead or alive, with a particular reward. So those are the few bad apples. But Big Daddy is not being seen as somebody that must be killed. He gets killed later, when we are seeing that claim when those whites are quarreling about not being able to see in their master. That was a very, very beautiful scene for me. But the thing that interests me is that this disavowal, like this lack of investment in fighting slavery, Django is not interested in that. Bromhilda is the one that Django wants. And I will go in as far as to say, under the label of being an oxymoron, that Django is a liberal subject invested in bad faith. Django is a liberal subject invested in bad faith, right? I will take it within this definition of John Paul Sartre, right? That the flight from responsibility. Because the responsibility of Django is to destroy the institution of slavery, but Django wants to solidify this institution because all he wants is Bromhilda, right? And of course, to kill this white man, that is what it's about, like this, the criminals on the side of the judiciary of the United States. So Django is working for the justice apparatus, which does not see anything illegal about slavery. Right? So Django is working because he is now the officer of the law. On behalf of what? So he's still the same with this black policeman who are killing black people today. Right? So this justice apparatus sees nothing wrong with slavery. It's only concerned with the few bad apples, right, that must be killed with the bounty. So this seems to be what Django is invested in as a gift that Dr. Schultz gave him, because it's a vengeful fantasy, because for him it's to kill this white man, right? I'm killing this white man. Even that scene of, I like the way you die, boy. He's not killing his master who said, Django, I will sell you for cheap, right? He's killing slave catchers, right? It reminds me of the book by Frederick Douglass, the slave narrative, like there was a slave catcher called Mr. Swearer, right? He was the master slave of Captain Anthony, who whipped Aunt Hester, right? And he's the one that we are made to see as somebody who is wrong in the book, but the rest is Captain Anthony himself, right? And the fight with COVID later, but that's another discussion. Dr. Schultz is in bad faith. He did not denounce slavery, even though he came with this white liberal German guild, right? he was still in protection of the law and proclaiming himself to be the office of the law, which made him immune from being killed. Like, remember that when they went to that town, they shot the sheriff and then stuff, and then he goes on it. So Django is the extension of Schultz as well, and these are the words that Schultz said, that I want it to be my extension, right? So both Django and Dr. Schultz have no problem with slavery. What makes them different with Steve, who treated Django with contempt, the very same attitude that Django treats other slaves with. Other slaves don't mean nothing to Django. And remember that scene, which makes me laugh. Like I discovered later, right, that the death of Diagnan, right, that guy was being ripped apart by dogs, and then later in the film when Schultz is signing the papers for Pomhilda, right, after they've been caught, he sort of had a regretful moment, right? But in the film, it appears as if he is haunted, right, by the cruelty of what happened to him, right? It is as if he was haunted, but we are losing the sight of the fact that slavery itself as an institution, right? And it being informed by sadistic violence is what Schultz promoted. So I would say there was nothing extraordinary about that scene, including the one of the Mandingo fighting, right? And of course, like, I'm not saying there was Mandingo fighting during slavery. This is something that I'm yet to investigate in the archives. Right? I'm not sure if there was Mandingo fighting during slavery. Right? But maybe Saidi Atman gives us a clue, right, in having to read performance, like performing for the master, the things that minstrelsy can do, because we always link minstrelsy with beauty and art, right? But yeah, the Mandingo fight. Like, how many of you saw the statue behind Candy in the king's house, like when he was sitting in the table? There's a statue behind him. How many of you saw it? When you watch the film, you see like it's a statue of the Mandingo fighters, right? And that is a symbolic object. It triggers me to think other things, but that's for another discussion. So, the scene that will haunt Dr. Schultz during the transaction of Bromhimla, Dr. Schultz will be haunted by the gory scene, as if there's nothing gory about slavery itself. It is as if like this, the brutality of the slave were episodic matters, and whereas that's not the case. Slavocracy thought count was violent. And of course, that came as a result of Django blocking the transaction. Remember that Schultz wanted to buy Diagnan, right? And then he says, and Django saw nothing in the ontology of Diagnan. And in bad faith, he says, I quote, I don't care about the speaking name, right? I don't care about the speaking name. And that made King to come to Django when dogs had bitten, to look at him in the eye to see whether he will have emotion or not, right? But I will argue that this eye-to-eye encounter, it was a sadistic affair because like it was based on stoicism, right? This thing to suppress pain, right? And Django says, Monsieur Kendi, right? Monsieur Kendi, right? Let's go. Like, I mean, nothing happened. Monsieur Kendi, let's go. Because to Django, it was this thing of, I want to intrigue him, right? He's too exciting. So, this stoicism of not showing any emotion is bad faith from Django. Only his individual wife mattered. Pomhimla, nothing else. And we see that he's having illusions, like he's seeing Pomhimla watching there, he's hallucinating about her, right? And of course, up until they get to the plantation, after she comes from the hot box. Yeah. So, Stephen and Django, I wouldn't want us, like, I'm not invested in them to compare these two, and I will skip this section because it's just obvious. I mean, Malcolm X has given us a difference, Sylvia Winter has given us a difference in the perception of the minstrels and sambos, right? And Saidia Hartman, like, even gives us better clues of what to do in this kind of situation. That the beating of Aunt Hester, let's go away from this scene. By producing it, it won't help us anything. But Moten comes and says, well, there is music, there is beauty, there's scream. So I want to skip that section because I'm not invested in it. I'm becoming to lose interest in thinking of withdrawing my chapter on Aunt Hester to a book that I've submitted. Because it's a banal story, right? We tend to lose focus on the larger picture, right, of Slavocracy itself. And what happens is that we are seeing efforts that are being executed and which are buffoonly performed to enact the master script, right? We are pleasing the master script every time. And next year become those who are even the desires of slave catchers, right? The deputies of Slavocracy itself. So, the death of the master is something that I wanted to end it in the section that I am avoiding. That both Django and Stephen are crying for their masters, right? Of course, Stephen screamed, "Ah!" right? After like Kendi was shot in the heart, right? And see the arrogance of Dr. Schultz. The refusal to shake a hand, to seal a deal, because in the South, the protocols are that if you're not shaking my hand, this deal is not sealed. But he refused, right? That's how witness performs. Right? I refuse to shake your hand. But it's principled, of course. Right? So that becomes something that he will rather take a bullet. And in the film, it appears as if he takes a bullet on behalf of Django. I'm not so sure about that. I'm meant to read the film again to see. And of course, Stephen screamed, right? He cried, he felt the pain of his master, right? And Django, after he freed himself, coming back, he touched him, like paying, respects to Dr. Schultz. So, hey, tell her, I'm a group. It's heavy in this film. And there is something interesting when you are seeing the liberal script of Bad Faith coming in, in which after Stephen has been quarreling, wanting to know who is this nigga on the horse, and just understand the fetish of power. Then Django and Steve, they have power without power, right? Their power is only extendable to the master's will. So it's a fetish of power. And Kendi says, hey, Steve, my boy, meet a cheeky brother like yourself. And they do it. Like, when you introduce him, hey, this one doesn't like this one. And then they come here. So I want to focus on the slave of emancipation. Django is not alive to the fact that there is no such thing as being the free man. He is bought and sold. He is acted upon. His will is that of Dr. Schultz. Who is Django if not a silhouette, right? He's a silhouette. This shadow on the wall. That's Django. Django is not the body flesh. It's this shadow on the wall, which can be formed in any other ways, right? If I can take a bottle of wine, you would think that. So like I can do anything to the silhouette. It's an image that is prone to manipulation at will. Right? I can do anything to a silhouette. I can make it to dance even though the body is not dancing. Right? So Django is that thing, the photocopy of the photocopy, to put it in simple terms. Who is Django if not a silhouette? It is only his shadow and his fantasy that is caught in the mechanics of this cinematography. And this is a dehumanization par excellence. Django forgets that he is in a nightmare and not a dream. Slavocracy is a nightmare. But to Django, we are seeing this dream. Oh, it has the possibility, if Boyula is free, I've killed those who wronged me and who marked me on my face, right? That's a dream. His refusal to dwell in the nightmare. Django did not fight for his freedom. He was, as Frantz Fanon says, the black man wants nothing, wants to be like a white man. For the black man, there is only one destiny, and it is white. Close quote. So Django fell into this span. And there is where Fanon even states very, very, very clearly where he speaks about when the slave is being acted upon, that the masters, they met together and said, let's be nice to niggas, right? And then we were told, now you are free. When Mandela was told, now you are free, we were building another jail for him elsewhere. So, because this freedom, you have been given this freedom, now you are free, right? You have been authorized. And, of course, Django has no place in any ontological hierarchies in the film. He's below the master, he's below the slave catchers. He's there because of there are moments where he gets reminded, but we refuse to see those moments, right? When he was captured facing upside down in order to be snatched from his manhood, that was a reminder, right? And that scene, we must think of what happened when they were going to Candyland, when this guy told him that it's all tall, we forget, right? Because we are in a dream, not a nightmare. Dr. Schultz headed the call of the congregation of masters, who said, to quote Fanon, let's be nice to neighbors. So I want to argue that Dr. Schultz should always be located within the community of masters. These people say, oh, he's an exceptional white, reading with German guild, because of his German, he's seeing it's like this character of good in the heart of darkness. We must refuse those acts, because they are there to disavow the infrastructure of racism, right? I remember Helen Zille in the 70s. She was lauded as the most brave journalist. She covered the story of Steve Biko, but he forgot what she did in the 70s, reporting Helen Mutwa as Imbimbi, as the council of Soweto. All these things are there in the archives. And now I saw some of you were mourning for Penny Sparrow. Penny Sparrow is not a problem. She's a symptom of the larger problem, right? Don't worry about the individual. But I know she'll be meeting Munchies there on the other side of the world. Munchies will be judges. Dr. Schultz is even at pains to answer who is Django. Interesting. Who is this nigga on the horse? Dr. Schultz is not even doing that. He's not even making an effort, but he is caught in evasiveness. He is my deputy, he is my confidant, and yes, he's shallow. His nothingness in a corporeal form. I like that scene of Big Daddy. So what? Because you are saying Django must go and play with you there. Show Django the plantation. But who is Django? Because there's no such thing as who is Django. We have what is Django. So that's what is pointing us. And of course, what about Fatima, who is the slave to Big Daddy? And Fatima was not confused. Fatima was not confused as well. And of course, for her, it was strange to locate Django in the ontological realm. What locate Django, right? In as much as they did, no, that guy, the white guy, but and then I liked what Sean brought to my attention. I watched that scene very closely when Fatima was questioning Django that why are you wearing that costume, right? And I remember I said to you, oh, it's beautiful, but after watching that scene, I was so embarrassed.
Right?
Yeah, I know, it's a messed up scene, right? Guys, this is a very, very beautiful movie to read, just like Pulp Fiction, because it's like a book, right? Even though but we shouldn't fall to this thing that, oh, it's comic, like Hateful Eight, right? So I don't buy that. I'm reading this movie from the protocols of blackness. So Django is that thing, that strain of identification, that thing that makes a tongue to be heavy to articulate, that thing that is struggle that makes that creates a struggle to locate it, that thing with no speech. So that's what Django is. To say that he's a free man is just a mute narrative. And Kelvin Warren has even showed us that there is no such thing as a free man, right? Think about it, in 12 years a slave, right? And that is that you can go back to slavery at any time. So there's no such thing as a free man. But that is show that slavery is still existing. So I want to draw a sort of an experimental conclusion. And to submit that the vengeful fantasy of Django is the category of the unreal. It is a violent act, but it manifests into nothing tangible. And being given the role of killing white men, as the Schultz initiated him, is nothing but it's just a farce, right? What is necessary for Django? Was necessary for Django to kill Stephen? And then we were hit. Yeah, he died, yeah. The popular answer is yes. For Stephen defended slavery and showed his anti-blackness throughout. But what about Django's anti-blackness? Because he is still living the situation of slavery untouched. The process of freedom with regards to Django collapsed into dismal failure. Django has no ontological demands that will bring slavery down. To call for slavery not to change, but to be destroyed. To destroy a country's big house and running it down, man, that scene was so comic. And then that was the eyes. Poof. The horse didn't even move. Guys, come on. And then all the flames, they fall on Django's feet. I mean, do you know that when the bomb explodes, what happens? You just stand there. This is cool. What if Django and Boom Himmler get caught as they disappear in the sunset? They are riding a horse together, now it's nice. What if they get caught? Because I'm saying this because of Stephen's words. This is Candyland. This is Candyland, like in Mississippi, right? Will they both be saved by freedom papers that Schultz has signed? I mean, Calvin Warren in his book Ontological Terror, he shows how there was a slave who said, no, I'm a free man, here are my papers, and then the slave catcher took those papers and then he swallowed them. And he said, your freedom is in my pain. Let's think about those things. So, this scene of papers being chewed, and it makes me scared because the slave catcher will tell them that your freedom is in my belly, or he will tell them that your freedom papers are inside my belly and I'm going to defecate them. So it means nothing, since they will come out from his belly as shit. Yet, their freedom means nothing. It is just shit to me. Django is chained. Django, this is not a nightmare. This is not a dream. Just wake up. Thank you.
But Thank you very much, Tendayi. I think we should make this a conversation instead of people raising hands and all of that. Let's have a conversation. And those who are interested in having grapes, please go ahead. So Tendayi, I'll really leave it to you.
Sure, of course.
Yeah, last time it was a conversation. Don't make it too formal. And have grapes.
The most important part.
Yes.
Oh no, sure. So I think we have about, try to get out of here in about 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I know if people have their grape juice, so should be more interesting. So I will leave it to you guys, that's it. Yeah,
Sure. Thank you very much. Sure. Thank you very much for your very deep and provocative reading. And as our brother said, that we'd rather have a conversation instead of poking questions. So I'm thinking about a lot of things in your presentation, and one of them is perhaps expanding the core elements of power beyond black ontology. Because when one watches the movie, power operates in a very particular manner where one could argue it's relational and it's not just imposed onto the black body, or black bodies rather, as in Django and Stephen and so on. There are complex power relations between Monsieur Candy and, who was Django's slave master? Stephen. No, but Dr. Schultz. Dr. Schultz. There are complex power relations there that come about very clearly in the domain of language. How Dr. Schultz is able to command and articulate himself in instances where he's able to get out of sticky situations, just like when the whole town came to arrest him for being with a nigger, and he's able to very clearly articulate that he's an officer of the law and he does this and he does that. That's but one instance in the movie. The second one is when before he shoots Monsieur Kang, and they get into an interesting debate about how he is sort of appealing to this elitist ideation of himself, but he's never quite there, never able to reach that ideation of himself. And he invokes Alexandre Dumas in that particular scene, who happens to be a black literary figure. So there's this interesting triad in relation of power, in that one, I don't think it is totally productive to just zone it in, although he does so very successfully. I think it would be quite generative to expand these coordinates and to consider how power functions within certain perimeters of certain bodies. So the second thing that struck me was the unimaginability of freedom. The fact that the movie ends the way it ends, with Stephen screaming what he screams and the house blowing, and they ride off, not into a sunset, into the dark night, which is a paradox on its own. You know, I find that quite interesting. But beyond that, it's almost as if Tarantino is implicitly saying there is no visual language for freedom. There is no possibility of imagining where these two bodies will end up. You know, so I found that very interesting. So just some thoughts on that to kick off our conversation.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, in the absence of that, for now, there's a concept which I've been trying to wrestle with, which I did a bit in my book, even though I got exhausted. I only ran the 200 meters sprint, but not a marathon. It is the concept of the weight of language. And the weight of language, we only engage in it at the domain of the law, right? When the law has this absolute speech, the law is the law, right? Or it is the law. And then we get, even like in this country, I laugh a lot, I don't commentate on politics because it's a Mickey Mouse affair for me, in a sense that what you see, even in our discourse, we have blacks being robbed of language, and there is a document that is used as the interdiction. It's called the Constitution. Do you know that we are the only country in the world which has, like, everything is deputized after the Constitution, all laws? How stupid is that? That's a foolish idea. You can't have the Constitution as the authoritative law. Even if you go to the Supreme Court of Appeal, I'm looking at this Mickey Mouse affair that is happening even now, right? And the power of language, but language not as a form of an expression only, but as the discursive mechanic, right? That it regulates speech. Hence, like I was thinking about the mute narrative, that whatever Django says, it's inaudible. And even the figure of the black in slavery, when the black screams in slavery, it's a mute scream, right? The beating of Aunt Hester, it didn't make Captain Anthony to stop, because for him, when he was seeing like the blood rushing through her back as he was whipping her, all he could do was to continue, right? This sadistic affair in the place of rape that he wanted to do on her, right? So this is how language works as a weight, right? And of course, I know that we've been captured by Henry Louis Gates, post-structuralist, nonsensical debates, like as if language is at the level of discourse, and then Baba coming, what language says is not what it actually says. It says something that is hidden. No, but we're speaking at the language as a material form, right? When I say to you, nigger, right? What it does, like even that, those debates are on Django Unchained about the concept nigger, right? And for me, the weight of language, it came in that scene of phrenology, right? That scene of phrenology, for me, when it was using pseudoscience to say, these are the skulls, you have dimples, right? Even you, if you were to bash your skull. And Stephen didn't see something, because there's a scene where Stephen extends the master's speech. Yeah, right. Yeah, like he adds on. That he says, there was this guy who was, like shaving my grandfather's, but at no point he thought of slashing his throat. He was saying something to Stephen as well. But Stephen saw, like agreeing with whatever nonsense that Unchained was saying. And the power of language should be looked at the violence of Dr. Schultz, the beautiful language that he uses. Hello, little poor devils. It sounds like a benevolent statement, right? And may you allow me to address. So that performative excess of language, it's hiding the very power that this language has, right? And just imagine, this sheriff did not seek any proof, right? He just came out holding, even in that plantation of Pig Daddy, he was saying, no, you can examine mine. I mean, you've killed my slave watchers. I can as well shoot you. I'll ask questions later. But why, right? So those are the things that are very, very interesting. And I think also we must trace language back to Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, 1 and 2, Yeah, but here it's thanks for that.
Can I make an add-on to that? I lost my copy of this book, which is Margaret Mead in Conversation with James Baldwin. There's a portion there where Margaret Mead says that she was supervising some people there in Papua New Guinea, and she was a woman in charge of these black men, and she was the only white person for miles around.
Yeah.
And she says that she knew that at any point they could kill her or harm her in some way. But she also knew that she is not protected simply by the firearm or whatever is at her disposal at that moment. She's protected by the power structure of whiteness that pervades throughout the land. Because she knew that whoever she's supervising, or they also knew that if anything happened to her, they would be as good as dead. So the active power structure doesn't have to be there in like over your shoulder saying, don't do this and that. You know yourself that if I err in any way, is this the end of me? So I think this is also part of the kind of perversity of where we find ourselves in South Africa, not just on a political level, but you go to any boardroom, you'll find a CEO, black CEO, they're in charge of a whole bunch of people of different races. But you ask yourself again the question of, does this person actually have power? So I think that you can, of course, look at, and it does matter what the thing that you raise. It does matter what are the minutiae of the power relations, because they can be. Let me not say manipulated, but they can be acted on the and they should be. But one again should not be mistaken about how the power differentials are always at play, even if there's just only black people in the room, even whiteness is still there in the room, of course, without it having a physical manifestation.
Yeah. No, thanks, Braquez, for that. When I read that book, I remember I was in a taxi. The book is called Red on Race. And she says that these guys, they look like cannibals, they have huge physique, and I was thinking of how they are emaciated in a way, like in her description, that should they dare to touch her white flesh? And my disappointment to the book was James Baldwin did not take her to task. Because it's an exchange, right? Because of like the book, because I was getting it in conversation with Breaking Brain, right? And Raymond raised Margaret Mead there, and guess what? Margaret Mead is lauded as this anthropologist. People don't get that statement as the violence of and her being in charge. That should you dare to touch the white flesh, you are dead as meat. People will catch emotions, but I will say this. Julius Malema will never touch the white flesh at the level of destruction as he did with other blacks. He will never. He will never. Because of, they know that if you touch the white flesh, the white monopoly capital, the taste will be closed. And this presence of whiteness, when I was teaching prisoners at Devon Westview, right, about George Jackson and Asata Shakur, and there was this prisoner who came and then he spoke Zulu. No, Nami Moshiwe, and then I was like, hey, you are violating us, you are the warden. You are the one who put us here. And people were stunned because they don't understand the power relations that are happening. That whiteness can say anything. We wait for a white person to say something about racism, and then it's when we are joining in. We wait for a white person to say something about the land question, right? Even Penny Sparrow, we wait for the whites to come and say, Penny Sparrow is wrong, she's not like us. Instead of saying that, no guys, you are part of the community of masters. Dismantle this nonsense of whiteness as a whole. Right? So this is where the weight of language in this extension that we are bringing in relation to Margaret Mead, because when I see this passage, I see the weight of language falling on James Baldwin. That he's not taking her to task, knowing who James Baldwin is. And nigga with an attitude, but in the affirmative sense. But why that didn't happen? So yeah, these are things that I want to work on.
Maybe it assists me here. I'm just struggling with this the notion of language. Because for me, couldn't one also make the argument that when Schultz went outside that saloon after he killed that guy, he's taking out the whatever bill for the bounty bill, couldn't one make the argument that he's not actually communicating to the other guy why he shot the guy, but it's almost like he's taking out his access card to the system, saying that I'm part of the system. So regardless of the flourish of the language or the beauty of the language, if that thing had come from another person, the access card wouldn't validate. So I don't know whether rather the language served the communicative purpose rather than a validation purpose that I'm one of the people. So I don't know, maybe you can just help me. I'm struggling to piece that together in my head. The second thing that I just want to maybe get your assistance on is the notion of Django in himself, that he isn't necessarily looking for some systemic liberation and collapse of slavery, right? He's on some individualistic pursuit, as you call it, right? So then the question arises then is that, does Django's life have meaning? Is his life a nihilistic pursuit in that sense, right? Because if we take that question and translate it back to the South African context, right? We all find ourselves within a system that we, to some extent, are saying that no, the system isn't working, the system is against us, the system must collapse, we're perpetuating privilege and so on. Then, in that sense, then, in us being participants of that system, do our lives lose meaning then?
Yeah. No, thanks for that. My name is Dr. Schultz. I am the officer, right? He declares himself. And should you interfere with the duties of the sheriff of the law, you'll be hanged by death. I wouldn't say it's access per se, but it's a statement of standing in this community of masters. As I said before, that the apparatus of the law that he says, right, it gives him this exemption from killability, right? He cannot be killed because of he is in service of the higher system that legalizes slavery, right? And then it was exposed that, oh, this sheriff, this guy, they had to be calling a sheriff. And remember that after he shot that guy, there's a guy who came and then he said, go to your marshal, right? And then it was after, right? And if one can watch spaghetti films, I'm a cowboy, it does not operate in that narrative. They shoot first, they ask questions after. And that's the ideology that the police in the US have adopted. So it was kind of strange for me, right, in approaching in that way. And of course, Django as an individual, all he wanted was communal, nothing else. And remember that there are these concepts that I'm trying to work on, and they are proving to be true in the spirit of Frantz Fanon. Fanon says, I fought for white liberty and justice, and the later I found that these are white liberty, white justice, and white equality. What happens even here with us, we were given emancipation, not liberation. This thing of the liberation struggle, it's a lie. Liberation struggle, aye. Liberation struggle. And then we are still then like they are giving you the RTP house and they're saying that you are liberated, and they are giving you a flag which is a combination of the border bond and ANC colors. I'm giving you another homework number 2. Go and look for the colors of the border bond flag and the flag of the ANC, and then compare that combination with the flag that we are having today. Right?
National anthem 2.
The national anthem, which the 2 stanzas of the national anthem, the English and the Africans, they are about land. They are about land. The 2 stanzas. Even we see nonsense. So what happens with us? We were given emancipation. So emancipation is when Dr. Schultz acts on Django. Django, now you are free. You are the extension of myself. You will do things according to the script that I've written. You will be in service of the US law. You must catch the bad guys. Don't worry about slavocracy as a whole. You've killed Unchained. That's it. You got a wife. Your wife was in a hotbox, right? And Candy. So, and remember that Unchained is portrayed as this biggest plantation owner, as if slavery was only in Mississippi. What about Georgia? What about Virginia? Right? So. Or what about even Texas? The whole of the South. Right? So this is emancipation. It eclipses your imagination. Right? They gave you the constitution. And there's no white person today who says, I supported apartheid, including the Freedom Fund Plus. And now they are in defense of the constitution. You even come to see with our democracy. What's liberation then? Liberation is when you create those possibilities, when the slave acts, right? And then we know that there will be a high price to pay, right? But negotiation, like here, like emancipation, there must be a negotiation. Right? And this is what happened even in the US. These guys, they were given emancipation because they were pushing for the abolition of slavery. But they were not aware in this radical language of abolition, right? That they are being, they thought that the North, right? Like those who were in the North, right? Where Dr. Schultz pointed those slaves to, that the moon is on, so go this way, right? He was even the navigator. He told them where to go. Remember that it is this thing of if one can extend this to the Civil War, right? What happened in the Civil War is that when blacks affiliated with, those that say, oh, these guys are not Confederates, blah, blah, blah. But they forgot that these are the people who supported slavery as well. And what happened after, right? What happened after slavery? They were now lynching. And, you know, I want you to look at a very, very interesting thing which I just saw by accident, but which I want to investigate further in the archives. Many of the lynching scenes that I visited in the US, in the South, do you know where they were? It's either near the court or near the police station. Near the court or near the police station. Then there will be these trees. And it's so amazing how, you know, and you will see even in some of the photographers, there are police there who are watching, right? And how this came into the present industrial complex. But I think the problem of emancipation, it is this theological arrival that we have arrived in the land of Eden, we abandon our faculties, right? I mean, nothing surprises me. Guys, stop being obsessed about Helen Zille. She's been doing this. Don't worry about this issue of race relations. No, since Grenier took over from France, Berman. Look at the works that these guys they've written in the 80s. When the South African, what is it called, this survey that they're doing in 2 years? And the copy is 1.5. One copy. So there's no access. What they do, you won't see the question of race at all, right? So emancipation is the one that it erases the radical demands that those who are oppressed are making. Go and read your beloved constitution. There's no word racism, there's no word apartheid. Read the constitution as a whole. You won't find those two words. Homework number 3. So, you are seeing now what emancipation does, because emancipation, they give you prescriptions of this is how far you can go, this is how far you can. And then now that you have been worried about property clause, right? And then they beat you with the very same section 16. Everybody has the right for freedom of expression. This freedom should not amount to hateful speech. And then the same clause, it has been used by right wings to silence you. So this is what we expect. Like, I want us to think about in order to. This is the very same thing that Tarantino is bringing to us, because I've been agonizing for this film like for 5 years, because I've been trying to find out what's going on here, because we know that Amistad is a giveaway. There's a lawyer who's speaking on behalf of slaves who cannot even utter the English word, right? The birth of the nation, of course, is like the Shaka Zulu. Oh, they're primitives, they're coming to attack us. So if we kill them, it is justice. Let's say the virtues of our. And then when you look at Lincoln, right? Lincoln comes. Oh, here is the white man, the white president who allowed the abolishment of slavery, right? 12 years a slave. Oh, here is this individual. He was a slave. He was freed, but he went back. Everything was great. And whom did he hug? The very same white at the end of the film. So these are things that we must take seriously. We shouldn't say, "Oh, this is a film. This is a novel," right? If one reads, even I mean, beloved, like we come and say, "Ah, Toni Morrison is obsessed with this writing of spectrality," but that's all we can do. Spectral work, right? Because she's dealing with the subject of death. And then they're saying, and then they give you an assignment in literature. Was she right or wrong to kill her son? What is choice there? There's no choice. Whatever choice that she chooses, it's fatal. So there's no choice. So these are the protocols of reading which I'm obsessed with, like even now. And I'm coming for Alan Payton, your God.
So I want to take you back to, you said something very interesting that you sort of like you spend time with. Your now refusal where you turn away from the Mutinian sort of poetics, and I'd like for you to sort of say something about that, because I can see you're sort of making a very scenes of subjection, sort of refusal of artistic stream, right?
Yeah.
I'd like for you to just say something further about that. And then my second sort of point would be, when you were speaking about the disappointment of freedom, just I don't know why I just thought of this, but the sinking of the SS Mendi, these are black soldiers who go to fight for the colonial empire, right, as British subjects, or so they think. And then sort of the disappointment, right, because this needs to be looked at in the context of the petitions that the ANC and the representations that the ANC at the time is making to the colonial masters. So from, I think, even in 1912, just after a couple of months after being formed, they go and present their case to the British and after the Native Land Act. So, yeah, I'm also thinking about sort of like this constant disappointment, right? Because the 1994 disappointment isn't the first time that,
of course,
you know what I mean? And I'm thinking of this notion of the intimacy that we sort of alive now, quote unquote, have with, those that are dead. And how we sort of are caught up in this constant performance of disappointment and,
Yeah, look, Django, on this, I'll address the second one first. Look, this is simple. I come and oppress you, and then I tell you how to act. And then I tell you how to get out of that oppression, right? And of course, naturally, my land is taken, right? My family has been disintegrated. I have nothing, so I have nothing to lose. I must fight. But no, they take me, right? And they say, no. Engage in civil politics. Fight for rights. Liberty, equality, and justice. Frantz Fanon, at the age of 19, he served in the Second World War. What happened? Went to France. Said, look, a Negro, right there. Precisely because this disappointment is that we've been performing in the same script. We've been acting in the same stage, under the same director. I want to see somebody at backstage, they're acting, and says, I'm done, I don't care about the audience. But those, they get killed. Those who act backstage, they get killed. Thomas Sankara, Robin Umnyobe, Patrice Lumumba, we can go on and on and on. But those who are on the stage, they have their language again. Their tongues, they get orchestrated. To articulate, right? They mustn't rumble. They must speak Polish language, right? Sol plage. They come and take the land. And like 1900s are very, very interesting for me. Hey, I'm talking about that tonight, 1900s. At the beginning of 1900s, you are seeing something interesting, that the missionary inscriptions, they've now gained power to say, we have loyal blacks. Yes, they can be cheeky, like Stephen, right? But they're in the house. They are in the master's house. So their language is coded, right? That it cannot utter other things that are in the field. They speak within the discursive framework that is happening in the house. Now, it's about liberty, equality, and justice. And in this country, we know the civilities that were bought from the king, right? Like there is this figure of Napier, who's supposed to he must be studied very closely, that one, as this way. And then when these guys, they have this language of rights and civil politics, right? Against the barbaric system, they are seeing their own people who are making insatiable demands which cannot be satisfied, but which are just. That's ridiculous to say, I'm a Makar and Abbas mix. They'll embarrass us. They can't speak the Polish language. Guys, I'm giving you homework number 4. This is the last one. And I want to make a statement. There is no beautiful English written book like My Life in Native South Africa. Never. I'm challenging you. read the prose there.
So, like,
Jesus! Yo! I know. Even that woman who, Elizabeth, they're in London. She doesn't know. She can't read that English. The sophistication of practice English. No, guys, really. No, really, like I heads off. Heads off. But how did the book come about? He wrote the book in a bunker as he was going to lay the petition in London. So they take your land and then you go to the very same British. They took our land. And remember, what was the original inscription of the ANC? We, the South African Native National Congress, we want a native desk. And we are not like Amakam. We are the polished ones. And we know the morals. And Plachi proved that they can speak. No, like really. And maybe like it might sound ridiculous. I think Plachi's English was so polished for the British to understand. That's the issue.
More British than the British.
Yeah. That book, don't tell me about Moody and that the prose there. I like read that book at the level of language. You'll be amazed. So this addiction, we are trapped in addiction. Right? We are addicted to disappointment. You kill people in Marikana, and then we come to Mamina. What do you expect? Now that we said Tumami, Nazareth, and now like we're going. So we are addicted to disappointment, and this is happening throughout black politics all over the world.
In Africa.
Look at even Frederick Douglass. These are the guys that were there, but this disappointment, right? The civil rights movement, right? So this addiction, and it comes with, I think, a person who is now tampering with that code. When I read him, it's George Jackson intramural letters to his mother and father. I'm finishing a project on that those letters doesn't play because the parents are buying into the American dream, and he says no. There is that American nightmare, right? And then you read Story Brothers in conjunction with Blood in My Eye, right? But they get killed, those who act behind the screen. The world does not want sambos, it wants minstrels who perform, right? So who can perform better. So, and then lastly, Jabula, is that I think what can break this impasse is when we invest in liberation, when we think in madness, right? Thinking disorder, right? As Gordon H. will say, right? And on the first part of the Mountain and Sadia Hartman, this is becoming a headache for me. No, not in this simplistic readings of Afro-pessimism and black op. No. In the break, the book of like when Mountain opens a book, right? Because Mountain wrote a review of Sins of Subjection before it came into a chapter, right? And the thing that is problematic for me is that Saidiya Hartman is saying we cannot be repeating the beating of the slave as a narrative because it will become mundane. It's like the police shootings, right? We became addicted to these videos, blacks are being shot, and then it becomes normal, right? So Saidiya was saying, well, let's not pay attention to the ancestors' beating because it emaciates our anger, right? And then we'll end up even coming with soft protocols to say Black Lives Matter, right? Now, Saidiya says, well, I want to move away from the scene. Then Mountain comes, and then Mountain says, well, Saidiya, you can't move in the scene. Ancestor scream when she was beaten, I can link it to the beautiful sound of jazz. The shrinking horn, and of course, like I was listening to Contrain, so every morning I do these sermons, like, I play a song to irritate my wife. this prayer every morning. Like, I play one song and you hear the beauty in this. But these are the guys who were not paid properly by the jazz clubs. These are the guys who they were treated badly even by the Italian mafias, right? But they dance, and it was only not everybody will be like minds to have an attitude, right? But some, it was such precarious, but they gave this, and then we know that this beauty, of course, it has terror, right, and stuff. But then Mountain comes in black and plain. Mountain is saying, hey, well, I think Saidia was right. Then Saidia comes in wayward lines. I think Mountain was right. Now I'm confused. But I think at the level of politics is we know that we can suffer and produce beautiful music and do all of these things, but I don't think we should see that as the replacement to say, the British reporters when they came to South Africa. By the way, black consciousness people didn't match. They didn't do that nonsense. Even PAC. So when they saw you did everything. Oh, these guys are Haitians. They are chanting. They are. So there are no slippages that happen. But I think for me is that we should ask from which space is this beauty being produced. I think it will make us not lose sight of the violence that exists. Because even in this beauty, that violence is still there. And that's why even the word of fictivity, it does not say we must transcend this violence. Right? But I don't know whether blackness, as Morten say, is for everyone. That's, I've been having debates with him there in New York, and I'm still coming for him as well.
Have a comment? So I wanted to ask, thank you first of all for the presentation. I wanted to ask if I'm reading you correctly, that you dismiss the celebrations of the violence against the master, which is sometimes the sense that I get in critiques, in readings of Django, right? That the excitement about the fantasy of violence towards the master is in some ways dismissed, and we sort of prioritize the filmmaker Tarantino and not the audience. Because I'm one of those people who, when I first saw the film, I was like, yes, kill it. And I read those moments as part of the fantasies that we have for white murder, and see it as a productive force rather than as something that we should just read as Hayo Tusano Celebrator, because ultimately this is a very limited project because it comes from a liberal. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Sister English, thank you so much. Sister English, we come from way back. But like people who say we come way back and we just want to silence you. Sister English, you know like what's my thing? My problem is the utopic religion. If we see the celebration as the end, as the resolution, I want to see that resolution as the ante, like as in A-N-T-E, right? Before, right, we take that celebration, this blue feeling, right? I know that when Mingas was playing, he was saying, I want to murder this white motherfuckers, like, through this beautiful music. But our problem is that we see the celebration as after. I don't want this celebration as victory. I want this celebration as ammunition. 2, I want this celebration as the coded language, right? That I am acting on stage, right? But my people know that what I'm talking about. Hence, I dismiss this easy readings of saying, well, Dizzy Gillespie is reducible to his overblown cheeks on the trumpet. Sachmo is reducible to his smile, right, on the trumpet. And then Monk is reducible to his spins. But I'm concerned with the performance of the ritual. When they are doing those acts, right, that celebration, how do we do it as a weapon, not as the after thing that makes us, oh, let's relax, right? And I think it's what Fred Moten and Saidiya Hartman have captured correctly in their latest work, right? That this, and even when you improvise, how do I experiment this life otherwise, right? Not as a moment of escape, but staying in the hold and to push the frontiers so that I can be untouchable like Miles. I wanted like those, and I'm having a lot of fights with a lot of brothers. You're trying to reconcile. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. Because that fantasy, we need it too. Because you can't imagine freedom without fantasy, right? This dreamscape that we're supposed to create, this freedom dreams, as Robert Dichikeli will say. Because if we invest in them, we are going to imagine possibilities. But if you are thinking rationally, logically, we are still inside Mumsung Kendi's house. Oh, yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, maybe I will go out of the topic a bit.
Don't worry, there's no script.
Yeah. But as they say, that is a conversation.
Yeah.
I would like to say something about slave, on an international level. So if I compare what we went on, if you consider the UNHCR, which is the United Nations Commission of Human Refugee, High Refugee, I'm sorry. So this is an international organization which is supported by the UN, and everything is coordinated by the UN. But if you go in deep, we found let's give an example, like when you go in a country which is not yours and you seek for refugee. So there will be conditions which is totally opposite with your willing. So when you are in your country, there is a law, as Prof said. When something is wrong with that law, you will say, no, you will start to fight that also. No, I don't want this, and they will label you as a robber. They will catch you. If they don't catch you, you will go outside to seek refuge. And when you are there, now they will say, okay, it's fine. We can grant you a refuge, and we take you to another country, far from your country. So when you reach there, they will give you a passport, and that passport, you can go everywhere in the country except your country. So, which means that the right that you were fighting before in your country is forgotten. So now you will find that life. Now you think that you have life, but you don't have that because you didn't reach on what you were fighting for. And when you go in deep and found out who was the creator or where that law was coming from, we found that the law that maybe the person was fighting for is the copy of the photocopy of prophecy, which we take from Europe and then we bring in Africa and say, okay, here is the constitution, expect this like this. So I think there is a cycle of many things of being slave. Not only on the things that we see. Because before the slave, there was human trafficking. Yes, they were taking, our grandfathers, they were taking them on chains like this. Then they traffic them to America or somewhere, just use them. And later, when they see that countries, they are crimes, and everyone now is alerting, they say, okay, now let us change. They try to create something which I could say like self-willing human trafficking. I don't know if I can say like that, which is correlated by this UNHCR. Then they will ask you yourself, are you willing to go outside of your country? You will say yes, and then you will see the consequences of the ones I was explaining, which means that the human trafficking has even changed the mode. So, and now as maybe there is this of asking you, okay, let us take you to Canada, because they know that Canada, there is now a lack of active people. Then when they take you to Canada, you found yourself that they are giving, yes, you have dollar. If you put it in South African values, you know, no, at least now. But if you consider how you are working, you will find that you are a slave. And if you also calculate and found out how much money you budget per month, you found that there's nothing. You pay for everything, even the thing that we get here in Africa for free. Then there's everything they will until so they want that money they give you to come back to them. So that's what maybe I should add. I'm sorry. You can understand also on international level what kind of say which is going on.
Yeah, no, sure. Yeah.
I think before you respond, just to add on what he's saying.
Okay.
For me, I'm interested more in the solutions.
Oh, solutions.
Yeah, I see we have diagnosed the problem, we're debating where's the problem lies and whatnot. But what then are the solutions?
Right.
Because even if you look at the discourse within our higher education, for example, if you look at the discourse of decolonization, it's actually co-opted within the liberal agenda.
Okay.
Even the black scholars who are writing on decolonization, they're actually assimilated within that liberal agenda.
Which academics? Because I'm writing them for you. Don't fear to name.
Okay, let's take one of your colleagues at UNISA, for example.
Who?
Unchained, for example.
Yeah.
If you look at the scholarship on decolonization, it's actually a copy of current list of what's happening within the Latin American scholarship, right? There's actually nothing new that's coming out from what he's saying on decolonization. Right. So for me,
this going outside. This one.
Django the Django.
Yeah.
So for me, it's solutions.
All right.
So what are the solutions? Because the discourse is called.
Yeah. I'll come to you after. You've said very, very provocative things, and I like it. Look, Mr. Daisenga, the UN, our problem is one, right? Do you know that the United States is not a member of the UN? The United States of America is not a member of the UN.
Yeah,
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. I'm just saying it is not. And for you to understand the UN, one has to understand its original inscription as the League of Nations, coming after the Peace Treaty of Versailles, which was signed in 1990 in Paris. Right? The signing of that treaty was after the First World War. No, sorry. There was no there was no such a thing as the World War I.
The Great War.
It is the imperial law, like imperial war, because there was no world. The world. It was imperial war, unless if you are thinking as the world as Euro-North American centric term. So it is the Imperial War I, then Imperial War II. That's when they came with the UN. And then there's a very interesting document that came, the Declaration of Human Rights. But there were no colonized countries there. 1945. The first country to get independence here it was Egypt, 1952, right? Even though that is still debatable. So I wouldn't, this thing of having the rights that are coming under the conventions and stuff, how can you be a hobo of the world and have rights? Even in this country, people, you are hobos here. You are hobos, all of you. You are not citizens, you are hobos.
Yeah.
Police only stop you. Police only shoot you during protest. You are the ones who are staying in shacks. Why? So, you are the ones who are dying every weekend. You are hobos. So you can't come here, I'm a citizen. No. So now, these things that they are mentioning in terms of like the refugee status, and I know that Canada has been receptive, but don't forget that Canada is rid with the blood of genocide. And Canada is racist. It's a homework for you. Simple as this.
Now you're not going to give out any more homework.
No, for him. 6 homeworks. Solutions. In the dawn of the neoliberal era, we've been told to suspend theory. And we were told that this world, it has its problems, and what we must do, we must devise solutions. How many times have you heard the word African solutions for Africa's problems? How many times? How many times?
A lot.
Not even a lot. From the civil war in Burundi, you know the history very closely. The Congo crisis, right? Solutions. Solutions is the language of emancipation. The ones who are giving you problems, they are now telling you to find solutions. But whereas I'm just giving you the things that I've said here are not new. This is what colleges have been doing. They come to you, they empty you of content, and they inject you with their values. And then we are coming with solutions. Solutions is the hot air that I hear when politicians are speaking. It's the hot air that I read in policy documents. Solutions are saying to us, the only solutions is to leave everything in the hands of the market. There must be minimal interference, and we must ensure competition, and we must privatize. Those are solutions. I'm not interested in the twin system argument. I'm invested in a scholarship project which says, I want to examine the wound. You can't go to a doctor and then the doctor doesn't diagnose you. Then misdiagnose you. Like Eric Dolphy, who they thought that he took the overdose of cocaine. Continue, this guy never took cocaine in his life. Then he died. So I'm not interested in solutions if you don't know what fundamentally is the problem. I'm not saying what is the problem. I'm saying what fundamentally is the problem. So underline the word fundamental. Now, I want to challenge you. How many books have you read by Samuel Kaji?
No,
how many?
not books. I've been reading his journal articles a lot about.
How many?
Roughly 15, 20.
Okay. All right. This is what happened in 2011. There's something interesting. There's a professor who I challenged at UCT. He said, you guys are quoting Latin American scholars. And I said, so when you quote the reader, there's no problem. The reader doesn't say shit about us. There's no problem. No, the reader is universal, blah, blah, blah. So we are suffering from what I would call epistemic colonization, in a sense that what we do, the Latin American experience, in as much as it has its own nuances, it affects us. The Maori experience in New Zealand, it affects us, right? Even though there might be anti-blackness within, right? But they are, because we are facing a several-headed monster beast. Now, what is wrong? Like, I mean, people take Badiao to study Johannesburg. Alan Badiao, idea of simulacrum, it's good to. But why can't we take, so like the challenge which I'm putting to you now is that we must take our canon very seriously, right? And when I say that there are no problems there are problems, we must point them out, right? How many of us take Miriam Clady as a philosopher? I mean, when you read Amanda, right? When you read Amanda, I was shocked, I was shocked, like, how this woman is so sophisticated, not at the level of literature, but philosophy, like the propositions that she's making, and then showing us that Soweto is a deathscape. If one can think about Soweto as the construction of a township which black people are getting dumped there to be killed. right? It's, I mean, look at Charlotte McCoy, right? I found out that Du Bois corresponded with her. And they were planning to have the 1929 conference, the Pan-African Congress in Tunis, which didn't happen. So, I understand your concern about decolonization being captured by liberals, but I want to bring maybe something to your attention. This is what Professor Malingozi has been doing through his minimal reading. That there are two streams. There is decoloniality. There's decoloniality. That's where some of the provocation is coming from. And then there is the vast decolonization. Two streams, they're not the same. Decoloniality is looking at the word called coloniality, which is the continued, right? The continuing of the colonial infrastructure, even if the colonial administration has left. Yeah. And it manifests itself at the level of knowledge, being, and power. No, those three architectonics, like, and of course, there are others which are expanding elsewhere. At VET, right, this lays academics here at VET, because they were exhausted with their postmodern bullshit. They came, right, and they took, because students have a right to, let me tell you the warning that I gave to Fees Must Fall and Roads Must Fall. I told him that Ashile Mbembe is not your friend, he's coming for you. I told him straight. And they said all bad stuff, you're an elitist, you hold an elitist PhD, this on him. I said, he's coming for you, right? Because he published that thing on knowledge in the archive. What happened? He became the advisor of Adam Habib, PR and security, right? Now, what happened is that the students were articulating the organic language, right, to name the suffering that they are in. And then people came like Anchiskuman, I don't fear to name, because I have evidence and I've written about it. These guys, they came, right, and then the late Peter Hudson came to be obsessed about Fanon instead of Althusser, right? And I was kicked out of the study group because I exposed them that no, don't come with this surface reading that you are doing. What they did, they said decolonization, right? Decolonization, and we know that even at Rhodes, your friends, the Petro Trabensi, make me angry, man. So they hijacked the legitimate language of people to make it fashionable. And I don't know whether you saw the piece by Petro Trabensi where he attacks the students using Sembo. But he does not cite even a single text of Sembo. Right? I wrote a reply in theory, and my article was censured. And I wrote them a long letter, right? Handwritten letter, then I scanned it. So what we are facing here, remember, you must be careful. This thing is here to silence the language of suffering. Yeah, now it's a bandwagon. So there is this thing that has been happening, right? So that we forget easily. How many of you remember NDP? NDP? How many of you remember Asgisa? We forget very easily. And I invite you to go back to the debate that Tanwam Tembu supposedly had in the 90s. Rich debate. I mean, you read the columns of those guys. You must read slowly, you must read the sipping wine. Read slowly. Read slowly with the highlighter and the touch pencil. Slowly. I mean, no, it's fine. It is a spirit, man. We are here. We have a rich archive, right? And what we're supposed to do, was not to let those students' struggles debates to suffer. Right? We're supposed to say, I mean, Frank B. Williamson even wrote a piece on transformation in the 1992. Right? I was shocked. I didn't know about this professor who was called the Jesus of Val. And then he was pushing for the Afrikaner education. Siapa came for him. I mean, we have recent archives. That was we should not listen to Achille Mbembe. They don't know shit, these guys. We have our own SA scholars. We have debated these questions very clearly. Right? So, this thing of decolonization, we are not saying that it is new. I meant to say, I remember I challenged some and said, show me the evidence where we are saying this thing is new. Ramon Bruce Fogel, he said, we coined the word decoloniality from inspiration from Africa. The debates by Kwame Nkrumah, the debates by Cloud Archer. I mean, we have a rich archive, right? The Ibadan School. I'm interested in those, right? So these are the things that we should look at, and then we should not have this symptomatic reading of the things that are happening now, right? Those guys will be now hijacking this position. When they take it, give it to them. We do like what we've been doing, right? So yeah.
It's been 2 hours. 2 hours.
Only then.
We can continue the conversation after this.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we'll put on